Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is Jay. It's March 25th. Um, it's about, let's see, 7 months, a little more than 7 months on testosterone. It's been a long time since I've done a video. Um, there's been a lot that's been going on with school and volunteering and life and whatnot. So I apologize for not uh, doing videos more often. Anyway, uh, I am a little more than a week post-op, and not like don't assume that I was having top surgery, but I did have a hysterectomy. Um, I went through my doctor. My doctor referred me to um, Dr. Darnell at the Riverside Professional Building. Um, Absolutely amazing surgeon. I'm not sure if she had. I'm pretty sure that she said that she hadn't had a lot of experience with trans patients, and that made me a little leery at first. But then again, I just the way that I think about it is um, we can't really create more like competent healthcare when it comes to doctors, unless we put ourselves out there. So yeah, I just I took a risk, and I'm really really glad I did. Dr. Darnell, I have a feeling that she did a lot of research, like or not, just like educated herself about trans people, because as the more appointments that I had with her, the more comfortable I was with her, and by the time it came time for surgery, like I felt really comfortable and I trusted her, and I knew that like even though she knew, uh, what my body looks like and like the procedures she was going to be doing, it never um, invalidated my gender identity. Um, on top of that, um, the hospital itself, the Riverside Fairview Riverside University building, which is on the U campus, which is probably, I mean, it being on the U campus is probably part of the reason why the care was so amazing. All of my documents, like driver's license, insurance cards, all that stuff, and what they have on record for me, all still says female. And I was, going into it, I was a little concerned with, gender stuff, like, and also worried that I was not going to really be in a state to um, advocate for myself because I was going to be on pain medicine and whatnot. So yeah, I met with the pre-op nurse and filled out all the registration forms, and like even checking in at registration, I just wasn't gendered at all, which is better than assuming that like because of the procedure that I'm having that I fall under like a particular like um like fall into a box gender. Um, so the registration people just didn't gender me. I went back to pre-op, and I met with the pre-op nurse, and she introduced herself, and I told her like she used my given name, and I was like, actually I go by Jay, and she wrote Jay on the board, like the instruction board or whatever, and next to my name I was like, can you write he him, and she was like, yeah, no problem. And I was at the hospital for mm, I want to say like 28 hours, 29 hours, close to. In that 29 hours, I had one person incorrectly gender me, and she corrected herself right away. And the nursing staff was just great. It was just really awesome. and there was a lot of, like, I had a lot of support. Will stayed at the hospital with me um, overnight, and that was a little rough on Will, because I mean, I, like, after, in the beginning it was fine, like, they could walk around and do whatever because I was sleeping, but later in the evening I was a little bit more alert, and, you know, I had my catheter taken out, which they, I guess, usually don't take out until the following morning, but I was really having problems with it, and, like, yeah, it was just, I checked with the nurse, and the nurse was like, well, we have to leave it in, and then one of the doctors came in later in the evening and said that they were actually going to take it out, so I was really happy about that, but the catheter was taken out, which meant I was in charge of, like, getting up and going into the bathroom, and they still had me on a saline drip, and I was drinking water, so it was like every 2 hours, all night long, I was getting up to go to the bathroom. So Will didn't get a lot of sleep that night, um, and maybe, like, in my next video about, uh, like care, post-op care, pre-op care, just care in general, like, I will talk about, or, like, maybe offer some advice about that. So the surgery was done laparoscopic. It was a total laparoscopic hysterectomy with a bilateral salpingo oophorectomy, which meant they took everything. Um, and I have 3 incisions. The computer is on my lap, so I'm not going to show you now, but there's one on my, like, just under my belly button, and then one on each side. And the procedure was, I think I went in at 9, my surgery started at 9:30, and it wasn't finished until 12:15. So it was 3 hours. Um, and the sedative that I was put on, yeah, it was a good drug. I don't remember anything except for thinking that the lights in the OR were like spaceship lights, and um, like, telling one of the nurse anesthetist or whatever, that I trusted her. That's the only thing I remember. And then I woke up, was in quite a bit of pain, but they were on top of that. They took care of it right away. Yeah, and then they had me on, like, a cycle of painkillers. So the first 24 hours, I was, like, between pain and just drugged up. And then Thursday I was released, came home Thursday afternoon. Thursday and Friday were a little hard. Not so much physically speaking, because I was, like, I was used to walking around a little bit. I wasn't used to stairs, and I, like, finding a way to lay down, which I slept on the couch. That was kind of interesting, and just had to find what worked for me. But emotionally speaking, it was rough. Just because, I mean, there's a lot, like, there's an emotional response to physical trauma, like, hormones are out of whack, and, you know, just, like, my own issues with surgeries and hospitals and recovering, and, like, not not being able to be independent. So, yeah, there was a lot of that, which I'll talk about in the next video, and, like, regarding care. I am 8 days post-op, 9 days. It's Friday. I had it last Wednesday. I'm able to walk around, like, I'm back to public transportation. I won't be able to bike for at least a couple weeks. I went back to school yesterday. I haven't been on pain meds for a while. Not even taking ibuprofen. Just drinking water, trying to stay hydrated. I am taking, like, some, which I forgot. I need to take my vitamin. I'm taking vitamins, just for, like, vitamin D and calcium deficiency, which are the two concerns being younger, and having that procedure done. So at least just having the ovaries removed. Yeah, I haven't had any complications. At this point now, the incisions are itchy because they're starting to heal. But that's it. It was it's an amazing experience. I feel really good, and you know, it's like I feel a lot better. Not because of like gender identity stuff. I was dealing with some issues with cramping and really heavy bleeding, and there's a history of endometriosis in my family. So the only way that they could check that is if they go in and do a biopsy. So I pretty much was just like, well, you might as well just take it out. I'm gonna need it at some point, anyways. I'm not having kids, so yeah. So my procedure was not specifically trans related, but you know that it's nice to not have to worry about that anymore. I'm on a few restrictions for a few weeks. My post-op appointment is April 15th. I can't lift more than 15 pounds right now, just because all of the stitching is inside. Like even my incisions, I just have steri strips, but there's no stitches or anything. So since I can't really see if I bust a stitch, I have to be really careful, and I'm on all these restrictions. Try not to walk. Like, well, I'm trying to walk more and like get my body used to it. That way, I can kind of recover quick and get back to work as soon as possible. Which is the 29th. We're gonna report to sea salt. So yeah. Trying to think. That's about it right now about my histo. 7 months on T. My voice has definitely dropped quite a bit, and I have more hair. It'll be interesting to see how things change after having the procedure. I know a lot of people that said that like their like their facial hair filled out like 6 months after like having the procedure, and just like a lot more changes. So I'm kind of in this like hormonal roller coaster now because everything's all out of whack, and like I'm sure it'll be a bit before we can get my levels stable again, but you know, one day at a time, 1 week at a time, and eventually it'll happen. But I feel amazing. I think I've just had like a lot of weight lifted off of my shoulders. So, because it's not the, the anticipation of like, because I was still cramping even though I wasn't bleeding. So like still having those cramps and the anxiety that comes with those, and being frustrated because I'm stuck in bed like with severe cramps and nothing happening. So yeah, that's it for now. I think this is like the third time I've recorded this video, and I can do some more. So that's it. Have a good one. Take care of each other. Be safe. Peace.